Know the difference with Annex Wealth Management? Tom Parks, Director of Retirement Plan Services, Annex Wealth Management. Welcome back.
Hello, Danny.
New year, new start. Let's talk about a 5-minute 401k checkup. It's easy. You can do it. This is for people who need at least one accomplishment to start the year, and it's pretty easy to do. So let's do it.
I think so.
Yeah. Step 1, this is funny. Check the beneficiary.
This is a really, really important one. So one thing I would say, most 401k providers these days do allow you to do an online beneficiary designation. So it actually makes it really easy. You just log into your account and check and make sure that you have the person designated. We actually, on our team, think that this is so important that we do a quarterly check and we look for people who do not have a beneficiary designated, and we send out a postcard to their house saying, hey, go in there and check it out, because it really is important to have this done. For most people, you can do it online. If you're married, you're probably going to designate your spouse anyway. Get this done because it's really important.
And the danger is say there's a divorce and you forget that. And that happens, right?
That is another issue, coincidentally, that came up earlier this week. And we were talking to a client and she said, you know, it came to my attention that if I don't get this taken care of, and I said, here, let's do it right now. I was on the phone with her. I said, log in, change it now. You can always straighten out later if you do estate planning or things like that. But yeah, that comes up more often than people would think.
I talked to Joe Martin about this, and she said there was a case that she remembers not too long ago where an ex-wife got the money. And I said, what did she do? She took it.
Yeah.
Step 2 in a 5-minute 401k checkup. Estimate your retirement goals.
Most 401k plan providers are going to have some sort of tools on their website that'll help you do this. Estimating your retirement needs, goals, however you want to phrase that, is harder to do the younger you are, obviously. Once you're in your 50s and 60s, it's really important that you're doing this because you want to make sure that you can actually retire. But even on the younger end of the scale, I think it's important to go in every once in a while, check it out, and just see if you're on track. It'll give you some recommendations. And that's just a nice constant reminder to keep contributing, maybe increase your contributions, things like that. So this is a good idea. Very easy to do, too.
You might have other sources, right? So you can't just look at that.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things, too. Most of the sites now, with technology just going the way that it is these days, you have the ability to bring those other accounts in, at least type in an amount that says, here's how much I have in these other accounts.
Oh, nice.
And it'll factor that stuff in, and it'll give you a much more accurate picture.
Didn't know that. Thank you. That's why we're doing this segment.
Yeah, right?
Step 3, if you're a little behind, make a plan for catching up.
This is never a bad idea. I've said it with you 1,000 times, and I will say it again. If the amount that you're saving doesn't hurt at least a little bit, you're definitely not doing enough. I actually would use my wife as an example. She and I were talking over the Christmas break, and we increased the contribution in her plan as effective this year. So bumped that percentage up a bit for her. I think it's something that's never fun. I always say, spending's a lot more fun than saving is, but you can't spend later if you don't save something now. So make sure that if you are behind, the sooner you start that catching up process, the easier it is.
I can't tell you how many times I've used that line about if it doesn't hurt a little, because it has to.
It's just an easy rule of thumb, It's not very scientific, but it's true.
And like most pains, it'll go away and you'll forget about it.
Yeah.
We're with Tom Parks, Director of Retirement Plan Services, Annex Wealth Management, talking about a 5-minute 401k checkup. You can do it, and you can do it quickly. Step 4, review your risk tolerance and asset allocation. I guess I have not done that.
Oh, yeah, you should, especially when you look at what happened in the market in 2020. This is especially important for people who have a mix of asset types, stocks and bonds, fixed income, things like that, because that proportion is likely out of whack if you haven't been paying attention to it. So let's say that you have a 60% stock, 40% fixed income portfolio. Well, with the way stocks performed in 2020, it's not 60-40 anymore. It's probably more like 70-30 or 75-25, and that's not the right asset mix for you. This is what makes, in the non-401k world, what we do for all of our clients at Annex. This is why people love having our investment management team, is we just do that stuff for you. In a 401k plan, you need to take a little bit more control yourself. So do keep an eye on it. It's not something you need to look at every day or anything like that, but at least once a year, go in and check and just make sure that your asset allocation is what you told it to be, is what you want it to be, because that does change over time as well. So both things are important.
Because they will wander.
Yes, they will. They're like kids, Yeah.
Fifth step in our 5-minute 401k checkup, make sure your fees are low. How possible is that?
Well, I would say start one step before this. Say, understand your fees.
Okay.
And this is where most people don't. They don't really know what the fees are. So first, get a hold of what actually are the fees that I'm paying. And then, as far as making sure that they're low, the company that you work for, you only have so much control over the fees that are in the plan. You can choose investments from among those that are available that are lower cost versus higher cost. But there too, you want to make sure that you're not just picking the cheapest thing for the sake of that. It needs to be the right investment. Obviously, index and passive investments are lower cost than active, but we really believe at Annex that there's an important balance to be had between those. So first, inform yourself, understand. If you find that the fees are a little bit out of control, talk to the people who are in charge of the plan and see if you can help them take a look at it.
Tom and the rest of your team, you help companies create and maintain strong retirement benefits to attract and retain employees. And as the economy recovers and hiring picks back up, company owners, CFOs, HR professionals, make your company stand out with a solid plan. You guys are ready to help.
Absolutely. And we work with lots of different companies and company types, so we can give you some perspective that others might not be able to.
Tom Parks, Director of Retirement Plan Services, Annex Wealth Management. Thank you.
Thanks.